The gate was chained. Elias Vance stood in the gravel lot, duffel bag on one shoulder. Rust had eaten the padlock down to lace. He didn't need a key. He needed a hammer. He'd been laid off 3 months back from a plant outside Dayton. 2 suitcases in the truck bed. Everything else sold or left behind. Ashcombe Falls, Massachusetts. Population 1,900 and dropping. Main Street had 4 shops open. 2 were for sale. The mill sat at the end of Water Street. 3 stories of brick, black with old smoke. A wooden sign hung by one bolt. Vance Mill. EST 1922. It swung in the wind, slow. Inside, dust an inch thick, pigeon droppings on the sills, rows of iron looms under canvas sheets, grey with age. The office door, paint peeling in long strips, hung crooked on one hinge. A wall clock stopped at 4:17. A time clock by the door, stacked with yellow punch cards. The last one read, October 14th, 1987. His grandfather's desk sat in the corner office, a pair of reading glasses, a photo, faded, men in flannel, standing in front of the mill. Pencil on the back, Silas and the Boys, 1961. Uncle Gene met him there Tuesday morning, coffee in hand. A quick stop cup, lid cracked. "Pruitt's offering 12 cents a pound," Gene said. "Cash. Clears the tax bill. $22,140. "We're out of time, Eli," Cousins agreed. So did the bank. Elias ran a hand along a loom's iron frame. A brass plate, green with age, Hollis Brota's Loom Works, 1889. "They don't make this anymore," he said. "Nobody wants it anymore," Gene said. "That's the point." Elias folded the paper Gene handed him, put it in his jacket pocket, started sweeping. He found Walt Kessler 2 counties over, a single wide, a chain-link dog run, no dog, 83 years old, hands thick, knuckles swollen, green cap, brim cracked, letters worn to nothing, ran loom 11. 61 to 91, Walt said. Then they shut the floor. "Nobody wants to hear about looms no more." "I do," Elias said. He showed Walt the photo from the desk. Silas and the Boys, 1961. Walt studied it a long moment, pointed to a face in the back row, young, unlined. "That's me." He said nothing else that day. Walt came Thursdays after that for gas money and a ham sandwich. He watched Elias oil a shuttle, tighten a belt, throw the switch. The belt snapped. Cracked leather, 30 years dry, split down the middle. "You rushed it," Walt said. Elias started a notebook. Blue cover, spiral bound, $1.99 at the hardware store. Every calibration, every tension setting. Every gear ratio Walt could remember, written by hand, at the kitchen table, past midnight, propane heater ticking in the corner. 6 weeks. 4 broken belts. 2 stripped gears. A burn on his forearm from a hot spindle, the mark still pink in August. "You're not fighting it right," Walt said one morning. "It's got a rhythm. Let the tension come up slow. Don't force it." Elias slowed down. He started listening instead of pushing. March came late that year. Mud season. Grey snow still in the ditches. Loom 6 caught. A low hum, steady. Elias fed the shuttle by hand until the rhythm held on its own. 6 hours later, 4 yards of wool cloth sat folded on the table. Uneven, nubby, heavy in the hand. Nothing like the flat, thin stuff off the big rolls at the fabric warehouse. Walt ran a thumb across it, said nothing for a long moment. "Selvage is clean," he said finally. Silas would have charged double for that. Some in town still called it a waste of good scrap metal. Word got around slow anyway. Mrs. Farrow traded a bag of chicken feed for a yard, made her granddaughter a coat. Denny Osgood, at the hardware store, took a length in trade for a box of leather punches and didn't ask questions. Elias wrote it on a chalkboard by the mill door. Slaw Skloch. Underneath, Unloom ATA Time. The Ashcombe Falls Artisan Market ran on the town green once a year. White tents in 2 rows. He rented a table. $60 for the day. His spot sat between a candle stand and a man selling carved birds. He sold 1 yard. A woman from Boston asked the price. $85 a yard. She laughed. Walked to the next table. Cotton there. $9 a yard. He drove home $55 short of what he'd started with. That night, he opened the notebook to a new page. Not calibrations. Numbers. Cost per yard. Hours per yard. He circled one word. Heritage. He mailed 3 samples to small clothing labels. 2 never wrote back. The 3rd did. A woman named Petra called from a company in Vermont, Norwood and Ash. "People want to know where their coat came from," she said. They'd pay for the story same as the wool. First order, 300 yards, $32 a yard. He needed more looms. He drove to Pruitt's yard, walked past the crushed cars, bought back 4 looms from a dead mill in Danforth. Scrap price, 12 cents a pound, same number, different direction. He hauled them home on a flatbed trailer, borrowed from Denny. 2 winters, 2 summers with the windows open because the AC never got fixed. By the second fall, 14 looms ran on the mill floor. 2 men who'd worked the old line came back on payroll. A woman who used to run the register at the Quick Stop learned to thread a shuttle. Walt still came Thursdays. Didn't need the gas money anymore. Came anyway. One afternoon, watching Loom 9 throw its shuttle clean and steady, Walt spoke without turning his head. "Told my wife, 40 years ago, that line was junk. Told her they'd never run again." He paused. "Wasn't junk. Just needed somebody patient enough to listen." Jean never mentioned Pruitt's offer again. Outside, the mill sign still swung on one bolt. Vance Mill, EST, 1922. Somebody had painted a second line under it, small, by hand, Slaus Cloach Co. The tax bill was paid. The cash box in the office held $412, small bills counted twice a week now instead of once a month. Elias stood at the end of the floor, hand on a warm iron frame, and listened to 14 machines find their rhythm, together, at the same slow, steady pace.